Nobody talks about it, but it's a fact. But let's say, because a lot of forced abortion has happened when there is, like in the countryside, the families don't have the money to pay. Even it's like a 30,000 or something, it's not that much. But still, for them it's a huge burden. So their woman, they just go hide, every time they come to check it, she just hide until she has the baby and until the baby is 3 years old. Okay, now what do? You cannot kill the kid, right? So they get him to register as a citizen.
But then they must to pay for it.
No, still, but when you're 3 years old, you have to register the kid. Because he started running around.
They can move to the minorities. The minorities are allowed to live.
But it's difficult to move to the right minority. Yeah. So, I mean, there are cases that they really did forced abortion when the woman is like 8 months pregnant. Yeah. So there are extreme cases. Yeah. So it's hard. It's very hard.
Till today it's like this? No. Today it's easier, much easier. They do allow it now.
But still, in the countryside,
5 years.
Some of them, they don't do birth control. They already have like 5 illegal babies. So what can they do? They have to do something about it.
Did it say to China this rule?
Sorry?
I mean, this rule made it, there is no poor people in China, there are no starving in China.
There are.
Yes, but not, I have been to China 12 years ago.
No, starving maybe not. Only, I believe, probably in the very remote areas.
Underdeveloped maybe, but not poor.
They're not like starving. Maybe they eat not really.
I ask if this rule saved China from being starving.
No, it's really hard to say.
No, on the contrary, they don't have a young generation now.
No, but before, why they start this rule is because there was really very limited food. Because of the Cultural Revolution. There was a period of time they do like a crazy, they fake the data about the agriculture. They say there's this much of food, but actually it's this much. And in that period of time, the government was trying to keep the people in the government to survive. So they have plenty of food in Beijing, like in where the government is located, and all China was starving. My mom was telling me the story that before they cannot buy food with money. They have to have tickets. Kind of like in the beginning of Israel. And each month, I think for the whole family, they have 2.5 kilo of meat per month. There's like 4 children and 2 adults. 2.5 kilo of meat. And also limited amount of rice.
How could there be 4 children then?
Okay?
It was only in the 80s.
The one-child policy only started in the 70s. Okay? And the famine, the big hunger, started between the 60s and the 70s. There was like 10 years of disaster. So like in that period of time when it's just started, because my mom, they were living in the city, so it was still okay. They still have food. Like every week, she said there was a big truck bringing vegetable, a whole truck of vegetable, and all the people in this city or in this area of the city, they're like lining up. Okay, when you're like standing in the end, basically there is no food for you, and so everybody is like trying to squeeze there, like stand. And she said that like sometimes it's a whole truck of kulv. So she get a whole basket of kulv, and for the whole week the family is eating kulv. Boiled kulv, stir-fried kulv, and also they don't have a lot of oil. So even stir-fry is a problem. Baked kulv. So there was 1 week, it was a whole truck of bataya wok. Not even bataya wok. So, for the whole week they were eating bataya wok. I looked at her and was like, how? She said, when you don't have food, you eat everything. So it was a really hard time, and they were in the city, so it's still kind of okay. And in that period of time also to do like small business, it's illegal. They say you're like boosting the capitalism or something. So it's not allowed. And so it was very difficult. So in the end, when there's this much food, and there's a lot of people starving. There was a lot of people died in that period of time. They started to eat, I think from there the Chinese people started to eat everything. Really everything. The grass, the
snakes.
Snakes, everything they can find, they eat.
It was not before? I mean, because of the hunger?
I think it's partly because of the hunger, And also they started to find this kind of adama, it look white. Okay, so they start to imagine this patek.
Yo,
Yeah,
after the-
and also it was not that dirty taste. I heard like it's adama, but it look white, so the people eat it, and they die from the stomach is stuck. The whole family died, you know. So it was a very hard time, very hard time.
Today, it's a financial situation in China.
Still, now there's a big gap between the rich and poor. There's really a big gap. Like, also speaking about the population, the birth control, my father has a friend, 我的爸爸, okay, 我的爸爸有
Yeah.
有一个朋友 okay, 有一个朋友 is a man. He has basically, I think he has four wives and 3 children, like 12 children or something.
That's a
Not the 4 wives.
Cocoa
One wife and the 3 wives on the side.
Yeah.
And in total, I think he has 12 children. Because he pay off everything. Each wife has a house, has a Mercedes Benz, everything is fine. Yeah. But there are people, they just couldn't afford to have another kid. So it's very crazy.
Does China now have all the natural resources?
We still have, because we're big. How much you dig, there's still, but let's say they're big cities, they have, you can start to see the sign that they consume the natural resource too much. Like in Shandong, there's a place called Dalian. Okay? The cities start to sink
Why?
because they draw the underground water too much. The city is sinking.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Lat, it's a millimeter by millimeter, it's starting going down. They don't know what to do. And also some of the, now I think in all over the world, they started like in the middle of the road, there's a hole. Yeah. It's all happening in China.
Shanghai, it's because
Shanghai.
it was sinking.
You also,
The bond in Shanghai.
yeah, a lot of things.
Went down.
So also pollution.
The bond.
I remember when I left China, it was not much of the pollution. And now it's everywhere, like especially in the north part.
China. Yeah.
In the 2010, it was really not that bad. Yeah, but suddenly now it's like the PM 2.5.
But
All the time my friends were complaining about it.
you're talking about big cities, not in the countryside.
Yeah, I mean the smaller city is always more beautiful. But the people, let's say, all the pressure and all the stress are the big cities or the super poor places. And the secondary cities, the people are fine. Yeah, I remember when my husband went with me to China, we stayed in, not the most big cities. Naturally,
You
regular
are
cities.
married.
Huh?
You
I'm married.
are, your husband is here?
My husband is Yemen. He's a Yemenite. So anyway, he was impressed by the life of Chinese people. He said the Chinese people living so easy. 2 o'clock, you see a man running a kiosk. He doesn't care about his kiosk. He was taking a chair and sleeping in the middle of the street
Yeah.
with his cat sitting on his belly. Like people would do small business. They're busy, but they're okay. Yeah. But in the big cities, my friends, like many of them, they work in Shanghai or Beijing or Shenzhen. All the big cities, all the time they're all working overtime. By the way, working overtime is called jaban. If you're interested, jaban. It's like extra duty. Jaban.
Japan.
Tel Aviv Japan.
Tel Aviv, I think they're always jaban. No,
Japan working all the time?
work overtime.
Overtime.
Yeah, overtime in working sense.
Overtime.
Yeah.
Japan.
加班，所以在北京，在上海，在深圳，中国人 all the time 加班。I don't know if you have heard of this company. They're making phones for iPhone called
Yeah.
Fujifilm.
Yeah, they committed suicide.
There was 1 year there are 12 employees suicide.
Yeah.
Suicide, why?
Suicide
Yeah.
because of 加班 suicide, and also every year there's workers like they died in their work because of 加班. There is a girl, she worked like pay attention to the number, 72 hours. 72.
She is.
No, that's 10. 7.
7.
72.
27?
No.
72.
72 or 27 or 74. 72. What is qi?
72.
7.
Shivim
Okay?
v'shtayim.
We have qi, shi, and the shi, 2. Shi,
10.
10,
2.
2,
Shtayim. Shivim v'shtayim.
82.
Shivim v'shtayim.
Ah, 7 כסף.
72 hours. She worked 72 hours straight. 加班.
איך ביום? איך 72 שעות ביום?
בלי מנוחה.
And she posted on her Twitter, wow, I've worked 72 hours, awesome me. 10 minutes after she died.
וואו.
In the work. Seriously, just like, boop, that's it. The body shuts down. Yeah. So a lot of my friends, I
How did
think,
she stay awake?
I don't know. It's a miracle. I have a friend who never took a break, like, there was never a weekend for half a year. Like every day. She has to ask for the permission to leave the work during the weekend. During the jaban, she has to ask for permission for not to jaban.
She works
Yeah.
like Israeli doctor.
But she doesn't get paid like an Israeli doctor. And also some of my friends, they get married. They're on a honeymoon trip. The third day of the honeymoon trip, the boss called them, you have to come back. And they have to come back.
We give them 3 days.
Nice people, huh?
学习吧。
学习吧。啊，等一下。This is the case, we need to say, 我们休息一下。我们休息一下。一下。我们休息一下 means we rest a bit. Schneer or whatever. 我们休息一下。一下。Like como一下。一点儿 is stop. Tip-tip-top. And 一下 is schneer.
西沙的。
一下。
一下。
学习 study.
下מה זה שעה?
一下 one word. Rest.
שנייה? אז אנחנו עושים הפסקה שנייה?
Yeah.
אוקיי, time's up.
I'm applying the Israeli rule.